San Francisco. Lovely peninsula with 43 rolling hills. It has the bay on one side and the Pacific on the other. For many years, it was the largest military port on the West Coast. Its eclectic culture grew with every new immigrant. They came searching for opportunity and found a place to belong.
There is no majority, there is no minority. I mean, there's just a lot of different people.
San Francisco's charm comes not only from its geographic location, but also from its unique shape and size. 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers. A patchwork of inviting neighborhood after inviting neighborhood.
I know everyone in my town, and that's essential to a sustainable neighborhood. That kind of closeness of neighborhood, neighbor sharing, and people saying hello.
The city has pretty much everything you could ask for. Fertile land, breathtaking natural beauty, the ocean, the beaches, and the perfect climate. These streets have seen the birth of some of North America's most influential cultural movements: Beat Generation, hippie culture, and gay rights.
Straight people here were more comfortable with my homosexuality than I was at the time.
San Francisco's creative vitality radiates beyond the city itself and into the Bay Area. The nearby Napa Valley consistently produces some of the world's best wines, while Silicon Valley creates the technological innovations that constantly change the way we live. Today, San Francisco seeks out the perfect balance between living sustainably and living all out. To start things off, I meet Armistead Maupin, the best-selling author of Tales of the City. His books, acclaimed all over the world, delve into San Francisco's counterculture. He was quick to recognize the creative intensity that exists in such an open-minded city.
This was a big harbor, a big port for soldiers being shipped off to war during the Second World War. My first viewing of it was on my way to Vietnam. I had 2 nights here, and I looked around and saw how amazing it was. There were bars, even then, down in North Beach that catered to a gay clientele. The population was pretty tolerant here. It still had the old rules of the old Wild West in terms of everybody leaving everybody else alone. And so they moved here after the war. It's that combination of village life and cosmopolitan sophistication that make it so attractive to me. Some people scoff at us because we're so enthusiastic about it. You know, Parisians, for instance, love to tell you how much they hate Paris, even though you can walk around and say, this is the most beautiful city I've ever seen. This, terrible, you know. New Yorkers do the same thing. We aren't that cynical here. We love to love the place.
Macondri Lane, an iconic street and an inspiration for Maupin's stories. In fact, this is where the television adaptation of Tales of the City was filmed.
Yeah, well, people have always come here to reinvent themselves, you know, ever since the gold rush. People got off the ships that came here during the gold rush so convinced that they were going to make a fortune that they abandoned the ships. And to me, that's a perfect symbol for the people who came here and, you know, found a brand new life. What I discovered was the straight people here were more comfortable with my homosexuality than I was.
Arriving.
There's a new wall here. I guess we could sit on that, couldn't we? My husband and I were married in October, a month before the voting, and we're among the 18,000 couples who can't have it undone. I mean, it's official.
Isn't that some form of regression? The fact that they allowed
gay marriage and then they're
Well,
taking it away?
You know, it's embarrassing, really, because California has always been known as the liberal, progressive place in the country. And I don't know how we messed this up, but we did. And we'll get it back eventually. We will.
Because you believe you will. Because you believe in it.
I believe that the country will. I think this time is over. It's really not an issue anymore. It's really, people are judged by whether or not they're assholes, basically. And if they're that, then they're shunned. But if they're kind, compassionate people, then it's not an issue.
In San Francisco, there's very little difference between the mainstream and the fringe. And it's hard to see these boundaries that exist so clearly in many other parts of the world.
When I started writing Tales of the City, people thought it was this shocking tale of homosexuality in this wicked city, when I was really writing about a place like this little secret enclave.
What do you think the population increase of San Francisco is due to your books?
I wish I could levy a tax on it or something, you know. I have no idea. The most common thing I hear from people is, "Oh, I moved here because of you." And that's pretty lovely. So many things about San Francisco that were once considered wild are very much a part of the American fabric of life. I mean, it's been an incubator of change for most of the 20th century. There was a bohemian movement that started here. The hippies started here. The beatniks started here. Jack Kerouac lived 2 blocks away from here. That thing that's evened out the rest of America hasn't happened here. And we love it for that reason.
I love the way you phrase that.
Well,
even though America,
I mean,
the rest of
America's
America.
so frighteningly the same now. Everywhere you go, everything looks like everything else.
San Francisco is one of America's most important cities, yet it has the feel of a village. No Walmarts on the territory of San Francisco?
You can't even get a chain yogurt store down here in North Beach. We know what makes it special, and we're trying very hard not to sell out to the forces that make life easier sometimes, but not nearly as pretty.
And Armistead knows what he's talking about. The San Francisco Board of Supervisors has issued a ban on businesses that have more than 11 outlets nationally. The streets here are not cluttered with brand names and big franchises. Commercial space is reserved for smaller boutiques and restaurants that reflect the character of the city. Only the large chains that settled here prior to 2003 are allowed to stay. But for how long? San Francisco streets are full of surprises. Just look at the countless neighborhoods, pressed tightly together, but completely different from one another. And these tiny houses are the soul of the city, warm and inviting. To connect the neighborhoods that define the city, or to keep that slim figure you've been working on, you can always use one of the 300 staircases, one of which is invariably hidden around the next corner. All this is very cute, but before the cars could navigate the city, some of these steep hills were too much for horses. These trams are more than 135 years old, and they're the last in the world to still operate full-time. Their mechanism is surprisingly simple. The wagons are pulled by cables that run just under the street. The driver uses his brakes and clamps to determine the speed. Through a web project called San Francisco Is, I was lucky enough to find Joshua Singer, a charismatic teacher with a lot to tell about his city. Josh's students, the creators of San Francisco Is, were hoping to uncover the essence of their city. But the project, like everything else here, quickly caught on and grew into something bigger.
The basic question was find something in San Francisco that defines San Francisco in some way, some place, and unearth something about it that we don't know. And I don't know actually how they came up with that final idea, but it was essentially, why don't we go ask, everybody?
According to the locals, San Francisco is limitless, love, magical, multicultural, equality, friendly, open, opportunity, family, peace, diversity, sex.
People do realize how special it is. I think for one reason, there's a lot of people that aren't from here. They come from somewhere else, and they come here most of the time for want of something better.
It seems like there's a collective agreement here to make things better.
Definitely. Maybe it is from the tradition of the 60s or the traditions of post-war. It keeps building upon itself. It's what draws people here.
I asked Josh to play a bit of San Francisco Is with me.
It's a little too prideful sometimes because we know how good it is here and we know that we're better than everybody else. I originally moved here. The thought was that I would be here for a few years and then go back to New York because I'm from New York and people from New York don't leave because New York's the center of the universe. I think it was in about a week. I think I knew that I'd probably spend the rest of my life here. My father, when I first moved out here, didn't like it out here at all when he would come to visit. And I think ultimately it was because he knew I wasn't coming back. And he says, first of all, when I first got here, everybody's so nice to me. It's like, what do they want? Maybe something that is very San Francisco is the idea of community. The idea that community is really important and that things that really matter are things that are going to matter to community. San Francisco is pretty good in terms of things like public transportation and bike lanes, and could be a lot better. And there are people who have the vision to make it better, but they get pushback. There are still developers who want to build lots of parking lots in San Francisco. So it's like any place. It's not, we say it's magical, but it's not fantasy. San Francisco, since it's right on the water, the quality of the air.
It's like fresh air, fresh ideas.
Yeah, well, I think it's good for the mind, When I first moved here, I really noticed it a lot. And I would especially notice when I go back to New York and I'd get off of the plane at JFK Airport and step outside and just be, insulted, with the smells of diesel and cars and whatever.
Like the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. That was probably invented here, because in San Francisco, everyone's moving towards the same goal: well-being.
California leads and the rest of the country follows. Everybody says, the things that we do here are, just like too far and too much, and give it 20 years and the rest of the country is doing it. People say you can't do that, and it's because it hasn't been done, and then we do it, and people go, oh, yeah, I guess you can do it, and people, it works. And not that that doesn't happen in other parts of the world, but it happens a lot here.
San Francisco's diversity is also apparent in its cultural mix. 45% Caucasian, 14% Latino, and almost 31% Asian. It's home to America's second largest Chinatown after New York.
There is no majority, there is no minority. I mean, there's just a lot of different people, and the racial and ethnic issues in some cases are almost non-issues. I mean, sometimes you don't know what people are, where they're from. The Chinese grandfather, African-American mother, Jewish father, Latino, is this whole big mix of sort of everything. It was really after the war that it was this, because it was a port, right? Because there are all these people, right, streaming through, that eventually it's going to sort of pull out, the type of people that are going to, that all of a sudden notice that this is a great place for them, that maybe otherwise were dispersed everywhere, were marginalized everywhere, and then they get sort of pulled through here and they go, oh, I could stay here.
People did come to San Francisco from all corners of the world. The Spanish were the first to settle here, and the link to California's Hispanic heritage is very present in daily life.
California is kind of like a Spanish name, you know, as is San Francisco and San Jose and San Mateo and Los Angeles. And it was the Spanish who first came here. They're the natives. I mean, they're the ancestors of the Indio, who were here. I mean, the guys on the corner may not be ancestors of the Miwok, who are literally here, but it's the peoples that were living in the Americas. Maybe there's a little more consciousness of that here. I mean, if we sent them all home, our food prices would go up. The cost of building would go up. I mean, it's a big part of our economy.
It's at that moment in our conversation, a rather philosophical conversation, that an idea strikes him. The grand conclusion to San Francisco is...
San Francisco is taco trucks. Yeah. Have you been to the taco trucks yet? You see, that's a beautiful thing. There used to be a lot more open parking lots. You'd get a taco truck that would park in some parking lot that was not being used, ever.
With the second highest population density of any city in America, green spaces are hard to come by in San Francisco. But taco trucks aren't, and we're getting hungry. There's even a website, CaliforniaTacoTrucks.com, that helps track the real-time location of taco trucks prowling the city streets. But Josh doesn't need a website.
Hi. Can I have a vegetarian burrito, please? But no onions?
And spicy and a tamarindo. Lengua, beef tongue.
Okay.
Yeah. And salsa picante. And this is, I lived on this for a while.
Tacos are great, but they're not the only culinary trend taking over the city. Make way for the edible schoolyard. When she opened her restaurant Chez Panisse in 1973, Alice Waters couldn't have predicted the effect she would have on the way Americans think about the food they eat. Her daughter Fanny had the privilege of learning firsthand the depth of her mother's impact.
It was really my mom who encouraged all these farmers to grow such good things.
Ever since it opened nearly 40 years ago, Chez Panisse has stressed the importance of quality ingredients in every dish. Almost 40 local family farmers send their entire production to the restaurant.
We're extremely lucky to have hundreds of farmers that are able to provide excellent, perfect produce. It's quite unique.
Seeing the poor nutritional habits of the neighborhood children, Alice Waters had the idea of converting an abandoned parking lot into a garden. The edible schoolyard was born. As we make our way to the schoolyard, Fanny laughs about the lunches her mother packed for her when she was younger.
She made lunches that were, how would I put it?
Ridiculous.
But we can always make healthy, simple lunches for the children. It's not that hard. You'll see at the edible schoolyard. The kids love to eat good things. It's just up here. This is King Middle School.
The edible schoolyard is a 1-acre organic garden and a kitchen classroom. And it's on the campus of a public middle school in Berkeley. We have 1,000 students. They're in grades 6, 7, and 8. And this is part of their curriculum. They come to the garden with science and math. They come to the kitchen with their history teachers. And it's integrated into their curriculum.
So it's a whole new generation of conscious young individuals.
We like to think so. And there's every indication that that's happening. They're pretty excited about what's going on. One of the things that we've done is we've established a very small program of what we call edible schoolyard affiliates. And there's one in New Orleans. They have a completely different climate, as you know, tropical climate. and they grow beautiful things. I think it can be done everywhere. I mean, there are greenhouses, there are hoop houses, there are hundreds of ways that people can grow things. It doesn't always have to be something that is coming from the garden, but maybe to talk about a way that you work with food that is not completely fresh but has been in some storage situation.
The concept is now almost 15 years old, and this goes to show that even the wildest ideas can make it big in the Bay Area.
They learn everything from composting, building soil, to propagating. We do a lot of seed saving. They grow, they harvest, they prepare it in the kitchen. And in the kitchen, they learn life skills.
A lot of the kids will kind of import what they've learned back into their kitchen. You know, it's sort of, they instruct their parents in how to make things that they've learned how to make in the edible schoolyard. So it's a nice, there's some flux there, you know, between this program and then home and how they actually sustain themselves.
How lazy.
So they are grinding grain, and they will use that grain in the pizza dough that they are preparing today in the oven. Half of them today are in the kitchen, preparing dough for the following class, and preparing toppings, fresh herbs, and tomato sauce.
The Edible Schoolyard program is being put into action across the country. With the current obesity epidemic we hear so much about, it's likely projects like this will catch on.
Get a little bit of this.
Do you remember how you do it so you can impress your parents at home?
Yeah.
Edible schoolyards already exist in Louisiana, North Carolina, and Brooklyn.
What's scientific about pizza?
We were talking about the physics of rolling it, the rolling friction with the flour underneath.
Chemistry of yeast.
Oh, there's so much, yes.
Straight ahead, in the heart of the bay, the legendary Alcatraz Island. Home to the very definition of imprisonment, it's the ultimate paradox in a city so free. Before becoming a tourist attraction, it was a military fortress, then a military jail, and finally a high-security federal prison until 1963. Its most famous prisoner was, you guessed it, Al Capone. And contrary to popular belief, no one has ever really escaped from Alcatraz. While in San Francisco, I dug up an old friend of mine that has now settled here with her family. She insisted I take a few minutes to see the beauty of the coast.
You told me you wanted to stay away from the tourist attractions, but keep in mind there's a reason tourists come here. It's beautiful. Over there, that's the Marin Headlands just on the other side. The bridge is just around the corner. And what you can't see today are the Farallon Islands, straight ahead. That's where the great white sharks breed.
Whatever the sharks do in these waters, this is quite the view. And it's right next to the city. Ocean Beach, the one that we're on, is 8 kilometers in length and covers most of the west side of the peninsula.
You guys from here?
Yes.
So you know all the best spots.
Of course. That's why we're here.
What do you like most about the city?
I like that it's very precious and very quaint. There are lots of little tiny magic places everywhere. And then I've lived here for 10 years, and whenever I think about it, it really is magical. It's a magic city.
Do you guys mind if I take a picture of you? It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful place. We find garbage everywhere. Newspapers from May 14th, 2009. People aren't very careful.
Julie is officially a San Franciscan. She picks up every little piece of trash she finds. Although she wasn't born here, I'd say she has clearly grasped the soul of the place.
When you've been living here for 9 years, you start picking up other people's trash. Okay, so let's see how far you make it. You haven't even touched it yet.
San Franciscans place a high value on the quality of life. Neighborhood spirit, rural living in the heart of the city, and respect for the environment. I make my way to the San Francisco Academy of Sciences for a surprising look at a unique project. And Alison Arieff is definitely the person to talk to. She's a world leader in the field of ecological urbanism and the co-founder of the super cool magazine, Dwell.
I know, it's amazing. There's no better roof, I think. So this is 2.5 acres. There's 1.7 million plants, all native to California, all sort of meticulously researched to see what species would work and what wouldn't. They're not just here because they're pretty. They help to restore bird and butterfly habitats. They help with the temperature control. They help insulate the building. You know, I think that the Academy of Sciences is definitely a reflection of San Francisco and many of its concerns. The architecture is amazing and feels very urban, but it's also so much about nature, and I think that combination of urban living and nature is what draws people to San Francisco. This roof is amazing, and while we wouldn't expect everyone to have this on their home, I think it's just a great demonstration of the possibilities of sustainability. We can all have more stuff growing. It's better for the environment. It's better for our mood. It's just sort of pure inspiration and shows what architecture and ecology can do, and really shows how much San Francisco is really one of the greener cities. The mayor of San Francisco has initiated things like this move to compost and recycle up to 90% of the city's trash, and I think we're up to like 63 to 70% right now. So there's many, many initiatives around the realm of sustainability.
After just a few minutes in Glen Park, where Alison lives, I understand the importance of real community spirit in San Francisco.
The whole idea of San Francisco being a sustainable city is one that is sort of gaining prominence. There's this new website out called walkscore.com where you can type in your address and it will gauge how walkable your neighborhood is. This neighborhood, I think, is at a 92. I know everyone in my town, and that's sort of never happened. And I think essential to a sustainable neighborhood is that kind of closeness in neighbor sharing, and people saying hello, and it just sort of improves everyone's kind of health and well-being.
Sustainable living, is it a theoretical concept, or do San Franciscans really do their part?
I think they really do their part. I think that the city is now either recycling or composting 60 to 70% of all waste, which means only 30% is going to landfill. Most cities, I think, that's almost flipped. And we do that, and it's no sacrifice, it's no problem. People in the city are pretty mindful. And in fact, I had a solar consultant come to our house, and he said, it's hard. A lot of people in San Francisco don't even need solar because they're actually just already using so little energy. They're just sort of mindful of.
A solar consultant.
Yes, very San Francisco solar consultant.
Recycling, composting, and bringing your own bags to the grocery store are nothing new here. If you really want to be green and sustainable in this city, you'll have to do more than that.
Oh yeah, that's totally mainstream. Your granola, if you're, let's see, like people who run their cars off of cooking oil that they get from the Chinese restaurant or whatever.
Does that work?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, some people take things to the extreme. But San Franciscans are willing to go very far to create a sustainable city. Many, like Allison, even share their backyard as a part of a collective gardening program called My Farm.
We have someone come once a week to sort of help maintain and plant, and then we get a box of produce every week, but part of the deal is that they're able to sell a box of produce to another family from what we produce in our backyard. We're not quite there yet, but ideally it will be just like sort of one big urban sharing program. You know, all the gardens in the neighborhood will grow different things, and then we'll all sort of be able to share. Space is dedicated just to edibles, and those are all tomatoes on that wall, which are doing quite well. We have blueberries in the back that are growing, and strawberries.
Allison introduces me to an architect who designs low-income residential units, each with their own rooftop garden. Architect David Baker is a true San Franciscan. He's concerned about the state of things, but takes a composed and thoughtful approach to the problems. He's one of the city's most prolific creators.
I think San Franciscans annoy a lot of people because they're very sort of full of themselves, and you know, oh, our food is better, our coffee is better, you know.
Look at that.
I think that's true. And you know, I think it would be a lot easier if people just accepted that that was true. I was meeting with a developer once, and he goes, you know, I just want to tell you that my first guy I worked for, I learned the most important thing ever, and that is never build anything that you would live in yourself, because if you do that, you'll spend too much money and you'll go broke. And I went, wow, you know, that's it. I mean, we're not going to work out because we always design things that we would want to live in.
David's forte is combining his expertise in sustainable development with his talent as an architect to create clever projects with microscopic budgets.
Oh, let me get you a helmet, too.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Hey, Peter, this is Heidi. This is my partner, Peter.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I make my way across town with David, whose preferred mode of travel is the bicycle, like me. In fact, he designs all his projects without parking spaces. Our destination, Curran House, in the heart of the Tenderloin District, the poorest neighborhood in the city. David created this impressive low-income living space on a very low budget.
Really, the difference between something that's attention to detail and aesthetics and something that doesn't is that there's really no cost difference. If you accept that you're going to do more than the minimum, you know, you can redirect that what makes something good, which is some not huge percentage more than the minimum, to things that make the building you know, greener and more socially wonderful.
There's various programs to help build this, because no matter how cheaply you did it, the people here have an average income of $12,000 a year. Actually, the thing that's amazing about San Francisco is a third of the homeless work. You know, they're not just lying around drinking, they actually have jobs. They just can't afford to get in off the streets because they've fallen off the wheel, they don't have a good reference, they don't have the thousands of dollars it takes to get a deposit.
On the rooftop of the Curran House development, David has included a garden for each apartment. Try to match that. Always with an eye on costs, he built these gardens in garbage bins. Very simple, but very efficient. To change the world, you have to think in a completely new way.
You can't get a container of this size for any less cost than this. We've started proposing this, and what the management people always say is, oh my God, what if it doesn't work? It's going to be a hassle. It's going to be full of weeds. It's going to be awful. And we go, well, you know, if it doesn't work, you can just plant flowers in them and maintain it with your building maintenance. You know, the best thing is for people to be engaged in anything, but it needs a place for the kids. It needs a sandbox. Lower income families, they tend to have children, and a lot of them are, you know, people from various regions in the world, a lot of multi-generational families. It's too bad you guys aren't coming by my house, because I have tomatoes in.
An invitation I certainly can't refuse. David's home was recently featured in Dwell magazine because of its extremely low energy consumption.
I'm installing right now some rain barrels, so it'll collect the water in when it rains, and then I can water my plants. I actually have a solar system right now that does about 60% of my power. And actually, what they're doing in California is they're allowing you to have a solar system that's bigger than your use, and if you own another property, you can apply the excess to the other property. It's part of the farm. So that
I think you were being modest. I think you have more than 12 bikes.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And the
11.
And the ones at work?
There's one at work. I only own one of those bikes at work.
Okay.
So I have 11.
And this is really something remarkable about San Francisco. The number of bikes. They're everywhere. Like so many locals, Kristen Tisch is addicted to her bicycle. Yet her city isn't the ideal setting for a sport that is far easier to practice on a flat surface. The 43 hills, well, they can get in your way. But the eager cyclists here won't let any of that slow them down. To help in their travels, they have a secret tool that shows the less difficult routes to make their way from one neighborhood to the next.
We have maps that show all the hills and the bike paths that make it easier to bike in the city, or harder, like the famous Lombard Street.
Only one thing left to do: rent a bike and hit the hills.
It's part of the local culture. People love being outside. They love biking. They hate being in a car. And it'll get you everywhere faster. This is not as steep. I usually stay away from heavy slopes.
It seems I appreciate San Francisco's hills more than Kristen. And although we have a map, we veer somewhat off path. The Castro, yet another lovely neighborhood, is the epicenter of homosexual activism and was the former headquarters of Harvey Milk. I decide to take a few photos with Kristen.
Excellent. Should I take my glasses off? Yeah. Okay, parfait. 1, 2, 3. It's a wrap.
San Francisco, green city, hip city, sustainable city. Hard to believe it's been the center of the technological revolution. Wikipedia, Twitter, Craigslist, Yelp, Flickr, Blogger, Dig, all based in San Francisco, these social media leaders all reflect the local importance of community. And this is without taking into account the internet companies that have evolved around the San Francisco area. Maybe you've heard of them? Apple, Yahoo, Google, and YouTube? To understand all this, I meet with Nancy Miller, the cultural content editor for Wired, a technological magazine with a social twist, published in San Francisco and read around the globe.
What is crucial about Wired and its success is presenting ideas that seem contrarian or impossible and making them seem possible and realistic. We like to think in San Francisco that we're on some sort of frontier. Technology and those sort of big ideas in the approach to sustainable living. By comparison, San Francisco is this flashy, consuming culture where maybe Silicon Valley is where they think of themselves having the idea. The social media technology that's been developed here and has been embraced globally, the profound impact on the way that people communicate is something that is completely central and focused. Started here. And where would we be without Facebook and Twitter, at least in this moment in time? Either it's the future or it's the ultimate timestamp.
Using the internet to let the world know what you had for breakfast may not be that important. But the impact of the technology invented here is beyond anything we could have imagined.
In San Francisco, there's an optimism about ideas. There's a freedom about living here and that anything is possible, including launching some magazine, a print magazine about the future of technology and the internet. If you were to draw aesthetic parallels between Wired magazine and San Francisco, I would think it's fair to say that it is eclectic, it's ambitious in its aesthetic. There's kind of this allure to it that hopefully you can't quite figure out. A friend of mine who didn't like San Francisco, who was from LA, once described San Francisco as a retirement home for teenagers. There's trying to be this balance between technology and using the ideas of the information age and then applying them to this kind of like hands in the dirt way of living. Doing things yourself, building things yourself, building your own robots, building your own garden. Vinyl was a technology, 80 years ago, and sort of seeing that arc of how it's gone away and then come back as kind of like a retro enjoyment. That's, I think, what San Francisco is. It's an interesting paradox between old and new, and it somehow works. There's something exquisite in being able to live somewhere where by day you are this completely forward-thinking egghead about the future of technology, and then at night you're spinning these little discs slowly
Going back in time.
on needles. Yes, it's my little time machine.
Because at night, Nancy is a DJ. She spins vinyl. She's one of those who give this city its personality, living somewhere between the technology of today and that of yesterday.
If you're living in New York or in LA, you're moving there for the dream. You're expected to sort of suffer when you first go to New York, and you're going to make it, you're going to be famous. And I think you move to San Francisco because you want to have freedom. You want to have a freedom to express your ideas. This is a culture of ideas. And you also come there because you want to have a quality of life that cannot exist outside of this city.
In just a few days, I think I've managed to grasp the nature of this gorgeous city. San Francisco is a leader, past and present. It's led us through social change, technological change, and now it's poised to show us how we can live in harmony with ourselves and our environment. It's an oasis of innovation and open-mindedness that sometimes feels at odds with the rest of the United States. With so much change going on in the world surrounding it, I wonder whether San Francisco will always keep its remarkably independent and free-thinking personality.